What's up, everyone? It's been a while. Hope you're doing well today. It's Raphael Garcia here for episode number 66. 66. Yes, of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. I hope you're doing fantastically well today, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this show. First and foremost, you can always catch me at rgarcia_sports, where I am talking professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, Black Lives Matter, politics, NBA. We got the playoffs going on, and everything in between. But be sure to recognize that if you don't believe Black Lives Matter, you might not want to follow me. Just want to put that out there first and foremost. You can catch all of my content in a couple of different places. This show you can find on MMA Ratings Net on MMA Ratings.net. That's the flagship. That's where all of our written content goes. You also see our podcast there, this show, and the show I do on Tuesdays with Sharon Hume. You can also find us at MMA Ratings Net on Instagram and Twitter, and MMA Ratings on YouTube, where this show is also on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple iTunes, and Breaker as well. I think that's the fifth one. Be sure to always check us out. We thank you for taking the time to listen to the show. Please hit us with the like button and subscribe if you have not already, because we're doing our best to come up with some great content. This is only my second show in August. I was ill for a little while and had a bunch of issues that kept me from being able to host this show as I wanted. But I'm back, bitches, and I have a couple of different things to talk about tonight. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. And there's a couple of things within WWE I want to talk about. First is WWE ThunderDome, which is starting tomorrow. They moved to Amway Center, which is kind of like a residency they'll be doing for the next 2 months. They're only moving Raw and SmackDown, which I find interesting. Yes, those are the two shows that are struggling the most, and from a rating standpoint, I wonder if they think it's best to keep NXT in that quote unquote gritty type of look and feel. Maybe that's it. I'm not quite sure. However, we'll see. We'll see if they don't end up making that change for NXT as well too, especially if the ratings they continue to struggle in the ratings place. We'll talk about that later on. But what they are doing is they're doing something along the lines like the NBA did for the NBA bubble. I'm not sure if any of you guys are watching the bubble and the playoffs, but I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying a couple of different things that the NBA are doing. The NBA consistently has always stayed above the curve when it comes to applying new technology to sports. And this is just yet another example to me. And the WWE saw what they were doing, they saw it worked, and they saw that they've been having success there and that people are enjoying it for the most part. So they were like, well, let's apply this to our content and see if it has the same uh, results, the same impact. Now, the issue here is that WWE leadership thinks that the reason the ratings are dropping is because it's the fans are not in attendance. While I could see that having some type of impact, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's because the content fucking sucks. Period. I watch every week hoping to be surprised and hoping to get some good content. That's really it. I watch every week for that purpose. I actually get surprised when I do get good content, and that's pretty bad. I believe. I think that's pretty bad to be surprised like that when I'm given good content in pro wrestling. So we have to deal with that. We have to look at that and say, what the hell is going on here? Why is this? Why is this a deal? They think the ratings are dropping because fans aren't there. Fans are telling them, no, we're not watching your shit because it sucks. So it's going to be intriguing to see the impact that Thunderdome has. What I believe is going to happen is that Friday's ratings are going to be up. They're going to have a strong little bump, and it's going to be interesting because that's going to say, okay, to them, from my point of view, from what I've seen from watching and covering wrestling, WWE specifically 4 years now, is they'll look at that like this proves our point. This proves our point. That's all they need to see. But after that, ratings are going to start tumbling. Plus, this is the Friday before SummerSlam, so there's some stakes there, in somewhat. I am not that intrigued by it. I've seen some pictures. Actually, Sean Rossap over at Fightful just shared some pictures, and it doesn't look it looks a little weird to me, maybe because it's the ring and you have people's faces right there behind it. It looks a little weird to me, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. I'm always down for something new. I want to see what the new camera angles look like. They're gonna have a million camera cuts. They're gonna have at least 1,000 camera. Like Sean's been counting the number of camera cuts they've been having in matches, and they're getting up to almost 200 in some. And it's going to be ridiculous watching the number of camera cuts that they have for their shows. Now they have more drones. They're going to have more cameras, so there's going to be more cuts, more pointless cuts, and everyone's going to look at them like, yeah, this isn't good. But like I said, I'm interested in seeing how it plays out. I'm always down for something new. WWE has the resources to make this happen because they're saving so much money on staffing and talent and not having to move around for house shows. So let's see how they apply it. So we're also getting two pay-per-views this weekend. We have SummerSlam on Sunday, NXT TakeOver on Saturday, and we have Payback a week after that. So yeah, I'm not. That just made me feel tired. But we're going to do a little bit of a SummerSlam preview. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm interested in this show probably about a 6. There's a couple of matches I'm interested in seeing. I'm excited to see. And then there's some that I don't give a shit about. So let's start with the ones that I don't give a fuck about. I'm not even going to cover them. Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. Don't care about that. Braun Strowman versus The Fiend. Don't care about that. Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. I think Andrade and Garza are going to win. I think we're going to start seeing the split of the Street Profits. WWE has ruined them, in my point of view. It took me a while to come around on those guys when they were in NXT. I slowly came around to them when they were on the main roster. But that whole shit with the Viking Raiders with the sports and all that stuff. No, I want them off my television every time they're on. To me, they have go away heat. That's the worst type of heat they have. Go away, get off my television. So those 3 matches, I'm not even going to cover. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. So Drew McIntyre is winning this match. He's a hot champion right now. And I say hot in air quotes because ratings are still what they are. In this version of Randy Orton continues to get better. I'm not the biggest fan of his matches sometimes. I'm not a big fan of his matches sometimes. And his character, it's the same, but it's different a little bit as well. I think that he's delivering as a top heel because in my opinion, he's definitely the top heel on Raw. He's booked that way. But I don't think that he wins this match. And as I sit here and say that, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. And they extended it out a little bit to give Drew McIntyre something to do because right now he really doesn't have too much to do. There really isn't anyone around. They kind of squandered the Bobby Lashley food. That should have went out much longer. So as I sit here and talk about it, I could see a situation where Randy Orton wins just to kind of keep it extended for a little bit. But I think McIntyre has a hot hand, and I don't see them taking the belt off of him right now. Orton as a legend killer, I like it. However, I would love to see a gimmick where he becomes a legend who was hunted. Because in reality, Randy Orton is a legend at this point in time. You could have Karrion Kross become the legend killer 2.0. You can have Dexter Lumis become the legend killer 2.0. Timothy Thatcher as a legend killer 2.0, all of those work. So it's something I would like to see. I doubt it will ever happen, but I would love to see that. And I think Orton would be an interesting individual trying to be the legend killer, but being a face, maybe, as he gets hunted by someone who's trying to. Ooh, that would be so fucking awesome. It'll be awesome. And it's like those individuals who emulate serial killers, like we see it in television and stuff like that, and they have to bring in the serial killer to help find the killer. Yeah, that would be great. So that's one match I'm interested in. Apollo Crews versus MVP. I'm not interested in this match per se. I'm interested in the Hurt Business. I think, based off of what occurred on Monday, Cedric Alexander turns on Apollo Crews and Ricochet here and helps MVP win, which I think is important because the Hurt Business needs to look like a solid stable. They had a title there, kind of, sort of, with the U.S. Championship. Then they had the 24/7 belt that's also gone. I think Shelton got the belt back by the end of Monday. So let's see what they do with that group. I would like to see Cedric moved over into that space. Maybe him and Shelton become a team. You still have Bobby Lashley there. You have MVP as a mouthpiece. I like it. I'm not. Cruz is better now. He's working better on the mic. His matches have always been good to me. I like the toss powerbomb finishing that he's using. So I'm a fan of Cruz. But I do not think I could also even see him turning and joining the Hurt Business, but I don't think that's what's going to happen through this match. I wish it did, but let's see how it plays out. But I have some intrigue in that match as well. Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville. So this one is at the top of my list. And the reason why it's at the top of my list is because there's a couple of different things that WWE can do here. Of course, they can have Mandy win and have her shave Sonya's head. Of course they can. They can have Sonya win and have her shave Mandy's head. Those are their two options. I hope they don't give us some bullshit finish. A Mandy victory, I think it doesn't bury Sonya too much. I hate to use the word bury. I know where people are up in arms about using that word, but it doesn't hurt Sonya too much. And I think Sonya can still be elevated after taking that loss. But what I would like to see is a situation where Mandy has to get her hair shaved and Otis starts to like her less, and him and Tucker become, not necessarily him and Tucker turn, but she turns on them because she thinks that they are not appreciative of her looks anymore, and it causes her to flip out, and her and Sonya get back together, become a heel tag team, and go after the tag team titles. We know that WWE has their thing. Vince McMahon has their thing for women who look like Mandy Rose, and we know that they are the ones who get elevated. Lacey Evans, Charlotte Flair, etc., etc. The list goes on. Sonya Deville has a glass ceiling that she needs to break through. Sonya's killing the character she's playing now. She's killing it. And I wrote about this, but we kind of put a pause on it. But I think that Deville coming off as almost like a scorned lover towards Rose is something that I would love to see the WWE explore correctly. Meaning that she would express her love to Rose and Rose not flips out on her, but Rose kind of like shuns her. And Deville then says, okay, well, I'm going to beat the shit out of you then and go from there. I don't know how that angle would go from a cancel culture or like that type of perception. I'm not sure if that would be an acceptable situation to look at, but it has some intrigue to me. And this is a storyline that I think this is probably one of the most interesting storylines of professional wrestling right now. I'm gonna go ahead and say I said it last year because we knew that this match was coming. We knew that this turn was coming. I said it last year, and I still believe it. This is the most interesting storyline in pro wrestling to me. We also have the two women's title matches, and I wonder what they're going to do here because we have a situation where Asuka is fighting both Sasha Banks and Bayley in individual title matches. I thought they were going to do a situation where they had a triple threat. First falls for one belt, second falls for another belt. I think one of these two belts are coming off of the Golden Role Models. We're going to start to see that split. I'm not sure who, though. Sasha, I think, has to keep the Raw title because there is that stigma that she's never booked to keep a belt. Bayley isn't hurt too much right now by losing the belt. And I think having the switch begin to be that Bayley would be jealous of Sasha having two titles it allows them to begin causing that split. Now they could really pour gasoline on this shit if they lose the women's tag team titles at Payback because they have to defend them the next week. Again, Sean Ross Sapp has been talking about the idea of this match having the storyline having the angle of Bayley's beginning to crack under the pressure. I could see that. I don't think that that's the direction that they're going in, but I think it is a good idea. I'm interested in seeing how this match plays out. Asuka, yes, a lot of people, I understand why people are upset that Asuka's in 2 title matches, that they could have elevated someone else at this time. I think they will, but I don't know who. Because I see them putting more women, they're putting more women on TV, but none of them are being elevated to the title picture. And I think that that is the major issue. It's the major issue, and it's frustrating, and I get it. I'm frustrated with it as well too because I want to see more of people like Kaden Carter, Bianca Belair, Naomi. I want to see more of Mickie James. She just came back. I want to see more. Carmella hasn't been on TV since all this broke out. I don't know if that's by choice or what. I want to see other people get called. I want to see Raquel Gonzalez, Trump supporter or not, get called up to the main roster and wreak havoc on people. You have Shayna Baszler there. You have the other 2 members of the Four Horsewomen who just came up and are doing work over on Raw Underground. So I think there's opportunity there to continue elevating a lot of the women, and I think that's coming. But we have to get through this Banks and Bailey storyline right now. And the only reason why I believe it's still going on is because of COVID-19. But we have to get through this storyline to allow us to get to that point where we see other women also begin getting elevated to the top. So that's my SummerSlam preview and thoughts. We're going to look at NXT TakeOver 30, which is on Saturday. This joint, I am on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say probably about a 7. Because looking at the match card now, there's actually only one match I'm not interested in here, and that's Breezango versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Legado del Fantasma. I saw Alex Podolsky had a great idea of Legado del Fantasma winning the NXT titles and freebirding them. I think that's fantastic. Outside of that, I don't give a fuck about that match. So let's talk about the ladder match. Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream. We're going to be talking about Velveteen Dream in our next segment. I think they are going to put the title on Dream just to piss everybody the fuck off. We're going to talk about why in a second, but I see it coming. Either him or Cameron Grimes are getting that title. My hope would be Bronson Reed. I'm a Bronson Reed guy, and I don't know why, but I'm hyped on him. I've been hyped on him from jump. But I don't think they're going to put the belt on him. I could see him eventually winning it, getting some shine. I expect him to be in the Rumble next year too. But right now, I don't see him winning that title. I think it's either going to go on Dream or Grimes. Dream out of spite to everybody being mad about him still having a job and still being pushed, and Grimes because they love to have those shitty mid-card champions who don't want to fight anybody. Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai. I'm thinking Io's going to keep that belt. Dakota she's good. She's grown on me, not as much as some of the other women on the roster has. She's just boring. She's just not interesting. They made her into a heel, and she was hot for that second. Then they cooled her right the fuck off. They put her with Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel's been beasting everybody. She's the interest factor for me. She's big as fuck. Like, even without other women around, I don't know if she's in heels or what, but she's big as a motherfucker. And when she challenges for the title, I think she's gonna be the one to take the belt off of Io Shirai because she's just a bruiser. I wouldn't be surprised if she turned on Kai in this match and turned on and then attacked Io herself. Let's see. Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher. This match was just announced today. If I wasn't going to watch TakeOver, let's say COVID-19 wasn't going on and I was out running the streets on these great summer evenings, as I probably would be, Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher is the type of match that would have made me say, hey, I'll meet you after this match is over. Because these 2 motherfuckers are going to beat the shit out of each other. They're going to go. It's going to be great. I don't know who's going to win. Balor has been taking some losses. I don't want to see him take too many losses, but Thatcher's being built up. So I have no idea how this match is going to go. That's one thing about NXT TakeOver. The matches I care about greatly, I don't know how they're going to go. Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross. This is a perfect example. I have zero idea how this match is going to be finished. You have Lee, who has been booked fantastically since Survivor Series. Then you have Cross, who's been booked like a killer heel, like The Fiend was. And neither one of these guys need to lose right now. What I wanted to see happen was Keith Lee lose the NXT North American title to Karrion Kross. But they made the situation as they made it. And we are where we are right now. But I have no idea how this match is going to go. Zero. And that's what makes it most interesting to me. They did the whole fireball shit to the face last week. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But that doesn't make me more interested in that match. I wrote about it as well. I was like, that they don't need shits and giggles. They don't need pop and circumstance. They don't need cheap parlor tricks. These two guys are going to be able to fucking go, and I'm looking forward to that match because I have no idea how it's going to end. Now, what I will say is, don't fucking take that belt off of Lee right now, please. Please, please, don't take that belt off of Lee. I think he's fantastic, and he's just got it. He's got it. He's someone that WWE can book and book well for an extended period of time. He's got it. Leave him be. So here we go. We got to talk about Velveteen Dream. So, as everyone knows, I wasn't a Velveteen Dream guy when he first came in. I was saying they have to be very careful with how they book Patrick Clark because I didn't like that gimmick to begin with. And now we're in a situation where it's like, fuck, we got to talk about this whole situation. A couple months ago, maybe about 2 months ago, tweets started coming out from an individual who was a minor saying that Dream was soliciting the minor for inappropriate pictures. It came out on Twitter. Everyone latched on to this. Is right before the speaking out push in professional wrestling. It's like right before it. Before his title match against Adam Cole. Dream denies it. And like he has that match with Adam Cole and goes off TV for 2 months. The thing that stood out to me then, and a lot of people said it then, was no one came to Dream's defense. When you saw the speaking out situation, even when it was wrong, people were coming to wrestlers' defense. Oh, he's not that type of guy. It's not the type of situation, etc., etc. When this shit came up with Dream, no one came to his defense. Period. That's a glaring issue number one. Then on top of that, the response was no one. People were like, "Yeah, that doesn't surprise me." Response number two, that is an issue. Plus, people are already upset with him because they feel like he gets special treatment within WWE. This is a prime example of how he's getting special treatment. If you have someone on your staff who is accused of this type of shit, they should probably be motherfucking fired right out the gate. Yes, innocence to proven guilty is a thing. It's how our criminal justice system works. Unfortunately, it's not how the public criminal justice system works, or the public system, whatever you want to call it. There are situations where the allegations of criminality are too gross to let them fly. Keeping him on the roster was something. Is this a situation that can happen to anybody? Yeah, if someone wanted to take the time to throw up a fake account and make some fake messages, etc., yeah, someone can do that. But multiple accounts, have come out now about Velveteen Dream and the situation. The thing that makes it interesting to me is Triple H talked about it during the media call on Wednesday, saying that they, being the WWE, did an investigation and they're not going to talk about it anymore. They're going to move past it. The accused, the one who came out first, was like, they didn't talk to me. So it makes you think what type of investigation they did, if they did an investigation. And from my view, if let's say they did do an investigation and they found resounding evidence that Velveteen Dream is innocent, shouldn't they broadcast that shit to the world? Shouldn't they? But they didn't. And the fact that they didn't do that makes me think, these motherfuckers don't have anything to say. And that is really showing that they are not going to take the steps to do anything about this. We know about the Jerry Lawler situation from 2 decades ago. Well, I mean, not even 2 decades ago, longer than that, when he was like in his 30s. We know about the Jerry Lawler situation, and they have no intention of ever even speaking about that. We know about the Jimmy Snuka situation. We know about Hogan. We know about all these transgressions that have gone on within the WWE. Forget professional wrestling as a whole. Just within the WWE, and they haven't done anything with them. Add this to the list. Add this to the list. Do I think it's going to go away? Absolutely not. I think the only thing that would cause them to get fired is if another accusation came up. Another credible accusation came up and came up rather soon. I really do believe they're putting that NXT North American title on him this weekend, and I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to shake my head because it's such a WWE thing to do, to double down and be like, fuck all y'all, we're going to do what we want to do. So I think that's what they're going to do, and people should be prepared for that, and go ahead and be prepared to be pissed. I'm going to talk a little bit about AEW. I have not watched any AEW content this week. As I mentioned, they did not have a show on Wednesday. They've been preempted because of the NBA playoffs. They're bumped this week, next week, and then the second week of September to Saturday, and Friday, respectively. This week's not having a AEW Dynamite allowed NXT to hit 853 in the ratings, which is an exceptional number for them. Let's see what it looks like next week as well. NXT is also getting preempted that following, not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday for NHL playoffs. I will be watching AEW Dark probably after this. So I'm just going to chill out. I got nothing else to do. It's Thursday. Staying low key today. So I want to watch NXT Dark, AEW Dark from this week. I have been keeping up with the story around the Deadly Draw tournament. I know Brandy and Ali are in the finals against Diamante and Ivelisse. Okay, no problem. They have a very solid card set up for Saturday. There are some spoilers I saw about Saturday that I am actually looking forward to. One, I'm looking forward to. The other, I am waiting for people to get pissed off. I just want to see the world burn when it happens, if it happens. So let's see how that goes down. Yeah, AEW is AEW to me. It's not that I don't like it. It's not watching it as much as I watch WWE. That's just me. Still a fan of their content, and I just gotta kind of hop in and catch up. So before we're going to close out, we have two questions from listeners this week. The first one is, who am I keeping an eye on in professional wrestling? And right now, there's two names as I wrote that down that stood out to me: Jeff Cobb and Trish Adora. So Jeff Cobb is, I mean, what the fuck? He's my type of guy. If I'm a Bronson Reed guy, I'm also a Jeff Cobb guy. If you could pick somebody up and throw them on their head legitimately, I'm here for it. This guy's wrestled Daniel Cormier. I think he's wrestled Yoel Romero. And this is like in freestyle wrestling. That's like you're a legit wrestler to me. I want to see Jeff Cobb pick people up and bounce them all around the ring. I'm going to watch some more of his matches actually, and I wrote about him last week. It's over on Daily DDT where you can find all of my wrestling content. But he's on my list. The other is Trish Adora, and she is the Pan African champion. She's actually from this area, but I'm in the DMV area. She's from here. I haven't had a lot of opportunity to watch a lot of her content. I'm going to go back and watch some of them, some of her matches and stuff like that. But I hear fantastic things about her. Her fucking finishing move is called Lariat Tubman. That right there is it. I saw that, and that I immediately brought her T-shirt as the minute I saw that. That was the first wrestling T-shirt I've actually. Well, no, it's not. That's not true. Well, it's the first wrestling T-shirt from an individual, not like an actual store. Like I have a couple of Shawn Michaels shirts and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. She's someone to have an eye on. I would hate to see her sign with a major organization like AEW and WWE and then get bastardized. I would hate to see that. But again, she has to do what she needs to do for herself. So let's see what happens. Big fan of hers though. And I was also asked, not sure if this is really a question, but the plug Black Wrestlers Matter, which is an event that's going on Saturday. You can order it. I believe it's $10 to view online. Phil over at Daily DDT and also Bleacher Report now and Sportskeeda, however you say that, covered the event, or he covered the event for Daily DDT. But I'm looking for he interviewed the organizer. He's covering the event on Saturday, and he's gonna do a post event afterwards. You can go over to blackwrestlersmatter.bigcartel.com and purchase your tickets, purchase some merch to support. All the money is going to a charity in Iowa. I can't remember the name of it, but it's going to a good cause. Not all of it, but there are some proceeds that are going to that. So should be awesome. I am always down for supporting Black wrestlers. It's such a time to continue to support things for people of color, and the fact that it's coming together within the space of professional wrestling that I love. I'm here for it. But that is the show for today. Again, my name is Raphael Garcia. As always, I thank you for taking the time to listen to me rant and rave about professional wrestling. You can catch me at rgarcia_sports. My MMA content is over at MMAratings.net. You can also catch all of our work at MMA Ratings.net on Instagram and Twitter, MMA Ratings on YouTube, and Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and Breaker. But that is it, folks. It's almost Friday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Get tested. And Black Lives Matter. Have a great night.